And welcome to our breakdown episode of Shawnee's League, the League of Sharks. I'm joined, of course, by Shawnee himself.
What's up, y'all?
So we've been doing this now for each league. I've been enjoying it, sparking some debate and conversation, and we're going to do our initial episode by giving each team a little breakdown and saying where we think they're going to end up. So I'm going to start breaking down Shawnee's team here. Um, of course, he had Patrick Mahomes here. You gotta love that. It's the best quarterback in the game, most consistent, even if Lamar did outdo him in points. Kenyon Drake looks amazing now after the transition tag gets placed on him. One of the best tight ends. He's got a young up and coming QB. Shawnee's looking pretty solid here. Didn't mortgage the future. Actually has a ton of 21 first. Dang. Um, okay, bench receivers. Got a big boost from Gurley leaving with Darrell Henderson there. Not much else in the way of running backs. And Nick Foles is fighting for a starting job. So a little thin at quarterback, just in case one of these guys goes down. Uh, but Shawnee, I like the makeup of the team. Defense solid. We're gonna always break down defense unless it's horrible. Yours is gonna be good enough to get the job done. I would say your only weak point is receivers. Like you're begging AJ Green to get 12 games. I don't know if that's the best game plan for a championship team. And Allen Robinson, I'm just not a fan of. It doesn't matter if it's Trubisky or Foles throwing to him. So, but I love the running backs. I like your quarterback situation. Maybe you can draft one. We'll see what happens. But I like what you got going on. What do you think?
Yeah, so with this team, I just wanted to take my time. I do have the best quarterback. I project my running backs both to be in the top 10. At receiver, Allen Robinson, he does play with a bad quarterback, but he's been like that all his career, and he always produced. And with Nick Foles coming over, he has some familiar, he's familiar with who do they have as a quarterback coach? DeFlupio. So he worked with him with the Philadelphia Eagles. I like the situation going in. Plus, if he has all the targets that he usually has, I still think he will produce. And I definitely think I have a top 10. Tight end. I don't know if it's going to be the number one tight end like everybody's saying, but he's really really good. I do think Daniel Jones take another step forward, and he's going to be also a top 10 quarterback. If not, maybe top 12. And when I look at the bench, at first I didn't know what my bench would turn out to be, but now I do get a boost with Nick Foles. Darrell Henderson might be the starter with the Rams, and in the top 10 scoring offense, that's always great. And at receiver, my thought process was I have a lot of wide receiver 2/3 type players, and I just wanted to play the matchups and take shots. But Will Fuller, maybe
Wide
the
receiver
wide
twos
receiver
in real
one,
life, not in
yeah,
fantasy.
wide receiver two is in real life. But when Will Fuller actually plays like more than 5 games, he puts up the numbers. And Sterling Shepard definitely puts up
I
wide
mean,
receiver two numbers.
all this free agency is basically I don't really see one where you got knocked down. Will Fuller
Oh
becomes
yeah,
Watson's number one.
right.
Gurley's gone. Darrell Henderson becomes a favorite. Uh, like free agency has
I
been
just
your
got
best
some good
friend.
breaks. Right. And I also own the number two pick, so I definitely could, like you said, if I'm weak at quarterback, I definitely could take one there.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to. It's kind of like the rule of Superflex. Even though like if I'm you, it would be nice because while we like your upside, or I don't want to say upside, the potential for some of your receivers or running backs to do your bench running backs or receivers to do an admirable job, you don't have a guy. Like
Right,
there is no if one of your starters gets hurt, it will hurt your team. You're
right.
not as bad as like some other teams. Like I'm not gonna go the Tico route. Like with Tico's teams, usually if
Yeah, I
somebody
understand.
goes down, he's screwed. You have a little bit more of a floor, I would say. Uh, but
And I like what Chase Edmonds could give me, just in case
yeah,
he has to fill in.
I think even though you could take a Swift or a uh, Lamb, I almost think you almost have to take Tua or Burrow, whichever one's there,
Well,
because
I've been asking Alex to make sure that he doesn't draft Burrow since he got three of the top five picks.
so I just think you kind of have to go that route. I don't think you have a choice because there's just so much value.
Yeah, I believe it. So for myself, I actually got myself as like a top four seed. Like I like my starting lineup. As far as my bench, it all looks great right now. So I just have to see how that plays out. If everything plays out how it's going, I definitely got a chance to make
I
some minor moves and keep it going.
I definitely agree. I would put you at 2 or 3. That's it's hard because you're the very first team. We're starting off strong out of the gates here, but I would put you at 2 or 3.
Right. So
All right, moving on to
moving
Stretch.
on.
This is one of your guys
Yeah, this is one of my friends.
who has not
So
checked his team in a while.
no, as you can see, his lineup is not built. But as I'm looking at it, I like to start, with Jared Goff, even though people give him, people don't like Jared Goff, the name, and they
He's
see
a
how he plays in
top
real
15
life.
quarterback.
But he's always producing, like I said, top 15 quarterback in fantasy, top 10 offense in real life, and then Alvin Kamara, no matter how he has to get it done, he gets it done. Todd Gurley, okay, he's released, and his knees are pretty bad, but that's the only thing when I'm looking at this team, it's like, all right, you went Julio Jones, Todd Gurley. It screams to me like you want to win now, but if you don't, if he doesn't hit on those picks, when I'm looking at his bench, is very, very, very
He's
ugly.
kind of screwed now.
Yeah, because he got lucky with the Phillip Rivers because for a minute, if he didn't go to the Colts, it looked like he might have retired. And then he has some people like Alpha Morris. He just needs to be dropped right now. Mohamed Sanu, no Brady in New England. He needs to be dropped right now.
Cooks is about to
All
be
I can
traded.
say, yeah, for this team, I'm gonna say what he needs to do is see where he at by week 2 or 3. Honestly, that should tell him everything he needs to know. Because if not, he needs to rebuild fast in a hurry because he has some older players that still has some type of value. So he wants to get what he can for him for contending teams. Like Zach Ertz is very good right now, but for a team like this that might not make the playoffs, I think you should sell him while you can. Maybe to the Goddard owner. I don't know.
I think you're just trying to be nice because you know the guy in real life or you're friends with him.
No, no, no. He knows me. Like everybody knows me. I'll tell you, this team sucks when I look at it.
There is no
But
playoffs, is what I'm saying. Like you don't
it's
have to
no
wait till
playoffs.
week
But
1 or 2.
you don't.
Start selling for parts now. Sell for 2020 draft picks if you can, because this is a loaded class. Uh, I would sell Kamara because running backs just don't last as long. I would sell Julio. Maybe you keep Stefan. He's a little young, and I just get what I get as many first round picks as I can get. Um,
But what I will say for Kamara, he's young, like, and he's a different type of running back. Like CMC type running back. They can play almost out of the slot if they needed to. But
he
like you
could,
said, you can keep breaking it down.
but he only has his backup quarterback is Philip Rivers, which
Yeah, that's
he
terrible.
barely came back 1 year and he sucked last year.
Right.
He's gonna suck again this year. The problem is like, all right, fine then, draft a quarterback. He does not. When is your draft pick? Because he has
Nah,
yours.
he
He
already
has
traded that
112.
with me.
He has the
Yeah.
112. He is not getting a quarterback at 112. If he is getting a quarterback at 112, it is not going to be one that's starting. It's going to be the project quarterback. So
Jordan Love. Yeah.
yeah, potentially Jordan Love, which that's not a horrible
No, that's
pick.
not good. No, that's not good.
It's not great, but my point is
Yeah.
he needs to get earlier picks. He needs to trade to a contender and pray that they take it because he needs a lot of help. I would say you're looking at the 11 or 12 team right here.
Yeah. That's definitely around that area.
That's all you can
Definitely, I
say.
can say the same. No, I
Yeah.
definitely can see it. No, I can see it. It's like,
All right.
like, yeah, it's crazy. It's not much to be said about this.
Are you gonna give an actual ranking? You're just gonna play nice and not
No, no, no. I'm gonna say 11. I'm gonna say 11.
11. All right. All right.
Yeah.
I'll let you go ahead and start on this championship team. Oh, did I say that?
Oh yeah. So you've been pretty happy about this team that you drafted, and I must say I really do like the start. Them quarterbacks gonna carry you a long, long, long way. And then Zeke, solid man. He's so underrated when it comes to fantasy nowadays because what CMC and everybody did, but he just produced every week. When you're going up against players like CMC, you don't have to worry about can one of your running backs match his points. He's always going to be around, or sometimes even better. Then Miles Sanders, I love him coming into the season. And then what I will say about the team, even though it looks strong to start, this is where I see you may differ from other teams because you have just projections from your wide receivers and your tight end. I love him coming into the season. I really do think he's gonna be have a big year. Debo, I see great things coming from him. DK, it's only one way to go, and that's up. But can that can they outproduce all the other type of studs that you're gonna have to go up against, like a Travis Kelsey? And just looking at the bench, you have Minshew, that's a plus, but we'll see who he really is after he gets the full time job.
Hey,
You have Austin Eckler on the
I got the
bench.
current New England quarterback starter there, buddy.
Yeah. See, the quarterback is not the problem. Who is he throwing it to? That's the problem.
I
But I
got
like your potential on the bench because you have, Austin Eckler. And people are down on Ronald Jones. I don't love him, but definitely don't hate him, especially if Tom Brady's going to be there. And yeah, you got some nice bench players. You got Hawkinson. Your Hawkinson fan together. That's definitely going to get some production from that. So, and where you drafting at? Oh, you sold your picks.
I did.
But I see why your team is strong. You sold your picks. It's smart. You're smart. But where I see you might lose out is your IDP. We only talk about it when it actually matters. And you're definitely going to need some studs there, to get you over the hump against the other strong teams in the league.
See
But
is
this is definitely a top 3 to 4 team. I would say top three.
See, yeah, this is where your buddy Stretch needs to hit me up. I need to take Julio or Diggs off his hands. I can give away. If you look at the picks I do have, they're all first or seconds.
Oh
So
yeah,
I managed to not trade away those.
yeah. You
He,
fleeced the other guy. Yeah, that's what
and we did a deal, and he got his pieces. I got my piece, which was Elliott. Um, and you know, I like I'm at the point with my tight ends, Hawkinson and Fant, and don't forget Irv Smith, who is the heir apparent after Randolph leaves. Like I'm set at tight
Oh no,
end.
yeah, you definitely said it, Todd.
I'm set at tight end for 10
Between the
years.
two.
I'm set at running back for like the next 5 or 6 years. I'm set at quarterback for the next 5 or 6 years. Like the reason I love this team, wide receiver even, it
Oh, I
only
love
gets
the
better.
team. Yeah,
I can only I'm gonna be in the championship for the next 5 years. That's the way I see this team.
yeah. Well,
Championship
if
contender.
everyone,
Let's put it that way.
if no, definitely it's contending. If everyone doesn't wake up and catch up.
I mean, they got a lot of catching up to do, in my opinion. I do see myself as the one seed right now.
All the way I break it down, I look at lineup for lineup, starting lineup. Of course that matter, but I don't predict. We don't predict injuries, so I'm just looking up lineup for lineup. Yeah, this is definitely a strong team, but I give the edge to myself, of course.
Oh man. Uh,
But
Speaking of which, by the way, while we're looking at this, you know how you were talking about getting rid of kicker and adding receiver?
yeah,
I think just for next year, since we already agreed not to do it this year, get rid of the kicker. That's fine. Just make it a regular flex.
well, that was the thing. I wanted to make it in a receiver, but that's always for debate.
I'm just saying when we get a
So it's
vote
not gonna
instead
be.
of
I can never make a. Yeah,
yeah, I'm just saying put that as a vote. Either we can make it just a receiver, or make it a flex, like running back, receiver, tight end, whatever. But
right.
a non super flex. You get what I'm trying to say. Um. Anyways, I
Oh,
like my team a
of
lot.
course, of course. Yes, I get that.
All
Definitely.
right, on to Slice Mo, who
No, I like your team a lot too.
Slice Mo. So
Oh,
I'll start
no,
off on
just
him. Love his
yeah.
quarterbacks. Uh, I think he's really the only person who can compete with me quarterback class wise. You're close, but I think he's up there. Deshaun Watson, Josh Allen. Um, just the amount of rushing TD Josh Allen produces puts him up there, and Deshaun's one of a top five quarterback. Running back, he's got like the stepchilds here, like the ones
I got
everybody
it.
forgets about. They're
Get it
not
done.
they're not horrible, but
Right.
there's talks of Marlon Mack being replaced. David Montgomery did not have the best starting out, didn't start the best out of the gates, but he makes up for it in his receivers. Um, Devontae Adams is a top five receiver. Could be, top three. Last year he got injured a little bit, but he'll be back. He's basically all Aaron Rodgers can throw to right now.
Right.
Juju had a bad year. You're hoping for the bounce back. Um, so he's still talented. He's still going to put up numbers. Does he put up wide receiver one numbers? I don't know. That's the question debate, And right now, I still like it, but again, this is free agency was unkind. David and Joku, I don't care what sets Cleveland runs. Austin Hooper is going to be the main tight end now. So and Joku is hoping to be traded. Uh, I mean, if you want to have any type of fantasy relevance.
Right.
He's got Trubisky as a backup. Mariota's got some decent
Mm.
quarterback backups, decent running back backups with Lindsey, Cohen, solid guys. Calvin Ridley, Jarvis Landry. His backups are pretty darn nice. Cameron Brate with Tom Brady there now could put up numbers, but it's just so crowded in Tampa. Um, if Howard were to get traded or something like that, that would help. But as of right now, tight end and his starting running back situation. Like he's just got a bunch of guys at running back, and his tight end is weak. That's how I see it. Defense again is solid. There's nothing. He's got Devin Bush. Everybody loves Devin Bush. Derwin James is one of the best corners, and Justin Simmons. He's got some of the best DBs in the game.
No, yeah, you got some. Yeah.
Um, gave up his first, so
Yeah, he's
he's
not
got
getting a running back.
he's got the ability to add depth, but he needs a guy at running back. If he wants to compete and be a serious contender, he needs to get a stud at running back, or at least a top. I don't see either of these being top 12. There may be late in running back twos. What about you?
All right, so when I look at this team, initially I put him at four because, like you said, I love his quarterback situation, but his running backs, we haven't seen dominance from. Like, so this team, like when it comes to receiver, I see Devontae Adams, I love it. Juju, I don't expect him to be top five, but I definitely expect him to bounce way back from what he did last year. He didn't have any quarterback to name, so I definitely think he's going to be great this year. And I did like the Njoku before the Austin Hooper, but just looking at it, I'm not even hype on Austin Hooper because of the system that they ran with Minnesota. That's the same offensive coordinator. It wasn't like they was targeting the tight ends a lot. So I'm not hype on that situation at all. Like you said, I hopefully he gets traded to somewhere. I was thinking New England, but with Tom Brady going, do they still try to do that to upgrade the skills position for them? I'm not sure. And without no studs at running back, it's going to be hard to beat the top teams. When I look at his bench, he took a hit with that Mitch Trubisky because even though
Oh
he's
yeah.
not great, he definitely was a starter on the bench that he can count on for sure. I do like Philip Lindsay, but once again, not a stud. But I do think with Pat Shermer going to the Denver, he's going to catch a lot more passes, so that's good for PPR. And he has some pretty decent receivers like Calvin Ridley, Jarvis Landry. Maybe he can move and try to package something for the future. If you already know you're a playoff team, maybe you can find a way to get a stud running back or somebody close to it that give you solid 20 point, production. That depends on how you want to mortgage it. But looking way down at the IR spots, I do like that he might have some potential at tight end because Will Disley was he was pretty good, like before the injury. And Ebron, if he lands with somebody like the Packers, it could be good, but we'll have to see about that. So he might have something with that. We just it has to break his way. And his defensive lineup, like I said, when you have teams like this, you need a boost. I do like his lineup because his linebackers give you them 25 to 30 point weeks. A healthy Derwin James is definitely giving you a 20 to 25 point week. And Justin Simmons, he's on the up and up. So definitely a solid 4 seed playoff team. I love it. And just hopefully he can get a stud running back.
Yeah, hopefully he does. The
Well,
Disley
hopefully he doesn't, but you know,
for his team's sake. Disley
for
though,
his team's
like
sake.
Olsen signed there. I think that really is gonna cut into any type of value Disley had, at least for this season.
Yeah, definitely gonna. I'm just not down on him. I actually, I'm just not down on it. But I think he has more potential than Njoku. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I think Ebron. If you're talking about tight end being traded, I think,
I
or not
like Ebron.
traded, Ebron ending up in New England. There's a real good
Yeah,
possibility of that.
yeah, that's definitely possible.
All right, on to another one of your guys, Aquan or OC1. I don't know
Yeah,
how to say his name.
OC1. Yes, OC1.
All right,
Gotcha.
go ahead, take us away.
All right, so looking at this team, I actually like the players, but it's kind of a mixture of redraft slash dynasty. It's like
Again, he hasn't
all
checked
in
his
this.
team in a while.
Yeah, it's like I talk to him all the time about it. He's like, man, it's early. I'm just saying, like, you got to get out this mode. Know that this is dynasty, man. You got to be active because you never know what you might miss. But when I look at the starting lineup, it's fairly decent because you got Drew Brees. He's gonna put up a lot of numbers. Le'Veon, it's not that great, but PPR he might give you 20 a week or 17 to 20 a week. Derrick Henry was top five. He's projected to be top five at least. And Keenan Allen, the quarterback situation, that's a big deal for him. Because if not, I don't know. Tyrod Taylor playing quarterback for full 16 games, he might get the targets, but I think they're gonna play defense and run the ball a little bit more or dump it off to Eckler. So that's a boost for Eckler and not Keenan Allen. DJ Moore, you already know I love this guy. His defense, is whatever. And going down to the bench now, he needs some lucky breaks because he has nothing on the bench. When I say lucky, Damian Williams needs to be the projected starter
Well, he got screwed at
because
quarterback again. I mean, Jameis Winston was a starter that he
yeah, that's
had.
what
Yeah.
Derek Jameis Winston, Derek Carr, they both was at least projected to be starting. And then you thought that you could at least get another Edelman Brady season, even though it might have just been like a little flex spot or bye week feeling, but you need those things. But looking at the bench, he has nothing. He already, oh, he has the third pick, so that's a boost. You never know,
Well, that'll
but
probably be Justin Herbert at this point.
yeah, definitely might be a quarterback. But you never know. The way he built his team, you almost got to try to win now. But he
Yeah.
already shipped off his future pick, which I love because I own it. Hopefully, this goes south
You-
real fast.
yeah, you're hoping he
Hopefully, it goes south
bombs.
real fast.
His
So
tight end
looking at this
situation is
team,
good, by the way. Like
oh no, no, yeah,
he hasn't
like he
updated
definitely,
his roster in a while, so that's why it wasn't up there. But I
yeah,
love
no, he
Hunter Henry
definitely,
and Jono Smith.
yeah, he even got some linebackers. It's not like the team, like I said, is looking like he had a plan, even though it was to win now. It might have not won, but he definitely had a plan. But yeah, like you said, that Jameis news hurt him bad. Derek Carr, if he loses that job, that's gonna hurt him bad. And everything else on the bench, I don't see what he's gonna do. Maybe he actually can package the number three pick, but
So
that's it's
I
all
mean,
up to the owner. But right now, I got him what uh, ninth seed, maybe
oh wow, you're really
10th,
hoping for that
10th.
high round pick next year. Um, I really can't do too much higher. I think he's gonna be that tragic middle of the road. Like he's gonna be seventh, eighth,
Okay,
right there. He's
you
gonna
said
miss
that.
the playoffs. He's got a solid team, but
Yeah, yeah, like
he's gonna
yeah,
get
you got
dumpstered by the top teams. Um, I just think he's losing Drew Brees, so his quarterback situation is not getting any better. Like he's got maybe a year or two left out of Drew, so he is going to potentially at the start of next year, unless Winston wins a job or Derek Carr wins a job, he could have no starting quarterbacks, and
Oh,
that
he
is
has John Smith also. Yeah, maybe he needs to sell one of those tight ends.
he probably does. We didn't do it for Slice Mo, by the way. Where do you see Slice Mo ending up?
Well, I said I had him at four.
Oh, okay, my bad. I
Yeah,
got my wife came in. I got
I had
distracted.
no, it's no problem. I had him firmly at four as
I
of
will
today.
put, four's probably no. I can't. Not with the running back. I'm putting him in that 5-6 range. I think he's the lower end of the playoff pool. I
I
think
think
for
I think we're gonna come back to that prediction, but we'll see.
all right, all right. Well, let's see what else we got before we do that. So far we have one, two, three playoff teams and two not. So let's keep going on to Arvante.
Yep.
Uh, I'll start off here, and I'm gonna tell you right now, this screams if nobody gets hurt, playoff team.
Right.
To me, I like what he did. Um, he made some moves too. Again, he sold his first round pick this year, but he does have his second. He has all of his picks for the future. Um, and just going down the list, Sam Darnold is underrated. Uh, oh, I realize what he did now. He's got Drew Lock. He's fine. He is gonna be banking on some big like that flex spot. He did not go the traditional route of having multiple quarterbacks. So he went the route of getting some extra positional
Starts.
players.
Yeah.
He does have Drew Lock, so he could start both quarterbacks if he wants. But James Conner, I don't I don't think the Steelers replace him this year. Um, they're going to give him a chance to prove which version he is, and I think he's going to be a solid running back too. Dalvin Cook injury. Let's see, does he have Madison? He
Nope.
he does not. So he's screwed if Dalvin Cook gets hurt. But if he stays healthy again, I mean, there's a top five running back. DeAndre Hopkins is going to be catching balls from Kyler Murray. His fan. I think he's going to like they're just going to throw the ball 50
Take off.
times in Arizona. So while I don't think Kyler
Thielen
Murray is
got
a
a
better
boost.
quarterback, I think his opportunities are going to go up even more.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
Thielen, they shipped out Diggs, so right now Thielen's it. Even though I found this out, Minnesota had the second lowest pass attempts last year. With both
Yep.
Diggs and Thielen, they had the second lowest pass attempts. So now
Right.
it's definitely going to go to Thielen. Like there's nobody else. Mark Andrews is probably the second best tight end or third, arguably, in fantasy. And Gallup is underrated. Wide receiver two, I think, is his floor for next season. Um, I think they're just he has benefited so much from having Amari Cooper there. And he's sneaky with how many receptions he gets. His defense is solid. You know, taking a little bit of
Yeah,
risk here
solid.
with Montez Sweat though. I live in DC. He there's better options there. I think he's showing some favoritism there. I think he could upgrade there. But going down the bench, running backs, he got nothing. He better pray no injuries happen. Oh, oof, one injury and he's done at running back. Wide receiver, he's got John Brown, Larry Fitzgerald. He can, and a tight end with Hayden Hurst being traded now. He's got Kyle
Right.
Rudolph. So basically, his weak spot is running back. It looks like if he is too super injury prone. Connor's been injured. Cook's been injured. Um, eh, I just yeah, running back seems to be his weakness. This is my sixth seed right now. I'm calling it sixth seed right here. Limps in,
Okay.
limps into the
So,
playoff.
so for me, yeah, like I said, everybody healthy. I actually got him as 5 seed. I'll tell you my 6 seed coming up. But when I look at this, Sam Donald, like you said, I actually like Sam Donald. The only reason that I usually pass on him is because I don't want to wait
Adam
another
Gase.
year and get Adam Gates get fired, which we all know is gonna happen. But I can't I can't mortgage my whole future just on him maybe getting fired or maybe not getting fired. But actually, I came around to James Conner. He usually does get injured, so that is the only issue. But when he's playing with Big Ben, he catches passes, he puts up the points. So I actually like it. And Dalvin Cook, as long as he's playing, he's still top five to 5 to 10. D Hop, he just gets a boost because they run so many plays. That's the thing that I like about it. Is just not even like of course he's gonna get his targets, but they run so many plays with the Cardinals that
hmm
he only can go up from there. And Adam Thielen, he's the only receiver to name. Even if they get a rookie to come in there, you know how rookies they take time. Even if you come off the back and you're great, you're still gonna have those games that you're down. So Adam Thielen, he's just gonna be fed. And we know Kirk Cousins, once he likes you, he's just gonna keep feeding you targets. Mark Andrews, like you said, top three tight end, and Hayden Hurst left, so that's even more targets for him. They was playing him like a low percentage, but now I guess he gets a boosted percentage of snaps, and when every time he's on the field, he just get targeted. He's basically like the number one receiver with Baltimore.
Yeah.
Michael Gallup. I love it, but see me, I'm the type I always want that quarterback in a super flex position because I think it's
Yep.
like a safer 15 points. Like because when you want from a flex, it's at least 15 points, but so I think it's just a safer way to get it.
Well, I mean, if you're
But
looking at
like,
his week by week, two goose eggs. Uh, then he has a 40 point, but then he has eight. Then he has six. You know,
yeah,
he has a 1.6 week. So
yeah,
Gallup was boosted by he had 3 weeks where he just went off. So his
right.
numbers are a little bit inflated because he popped off that game, but he ain't gonna do that every week. Quarterback is way more
The way to
consistent.
go.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason
So
that
if
super flex.
right, so looking at the bench now is where it did get tricky. Okay, he had a good start with Drew Lock, but players Peyton Barber, you can get rid of him. Tevin Coleman, you hoping that he lands like maybe he goes back to Falcons on a cheap deal, but I think by this time everybody knows you just draft the running back. You know, Larry
Problem is he ain't got a
Fitzgerald,
first round pick.
yeah. It- no, I'm talking about the Falcons.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm just hoping for him, like to go back in a good landing spot. But I don't see that really happening. I do like John Brown, as a fill-in. And Hayden Hurst, he actually traded with me to back up, Mark Andrews just in case he got hurt. So he actually
I
stole
mean,
one from me.
yeah. I mean,
So
it's
that's a
looking
good
like a
that was a good
gangbuster
trade.
now.
Yeah, that's looking great. And like you said with Montez Sweat, I see he has Cameron Jordan on the bench. That's a solid veteran that gives you some good points. But I just think this team starting off up top is very solid. But why I think he loses because he doesn't have a dominant quarterback. Like even if Sam Darnold is good this year, I don't see him being top 10
Yeah.
unless he's coming to shock us all.
All
So
right.
he's
Well,
definitely gonna make it, but I'll give him the fifth seed.
he's my limping in, just barely 6 seed. Could easily see him
Right.
missing too. Moving on to TTG, and also it's your pick in the other league, so I'll talk while you make that pick.
No, it's
Uh,
okay. They can wait.
oh man, so TTG man, he talks a big game. I didn't realize he was a
My best friend.
co-commissioner in this league. Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Oh, so what you're saying is there was collusion in that Barkley Sanders trade. Understood. Got it.
No, I just know him better than y'all.
Well, he has David Johnson, which is going to be given a shot, but I thought he was, dead on arrival in Arizona. His back is just, it's not about how good he was. It's how good is he now, and he just doesn't have it anymore. His back is too messed up. The history of players who have similar injuries like that, they never recover or are the same player. Having said that, he's got Saquon, he's got Michael Thomas, AJ Brown. Aaron Rodgers is solid, Kirk Cousins is solid, and Godair is solid. I just think, unfortunately, Saquon's missed time. AJ Brown is still in a run heavy offense. Godair's in a timeshare. Kirk Cousins in a run heavy offense. Aaron Rodgers has just been, if you look at his last year, yes, he was
Been
9,
fine.
but look at his week to week. If you look at his week to week, 39, 10, 19, 9. Like it goes up and down. I'm a Packers fan. He was inconsistent in terms of fantasy. They won games, but it wasn't always because of Rodgers. He has no QB on the bench, so bye weeks are going to hurt him. Um, and Jordan Howard, he stole a starting running back spot. I mean, he's going to get some run in Miami. McCall Hardman's his best wide receiver on the bench. Oh, he's got Sanders and Tate. He's got decent wide receivers.
Right.
Let's see, he's got a first rounder. When does he draft?
I think eighth
Ninth.
or ninth. Ninth.
So
Yeah.
he's got the ninth. Um, he can pick up. He's gonna get a decent player at 9 because of being
Oh,
super flex.
Cam Newton. Damn, that's what happened.
Oh yeah, I see that now. Okay. Um, ah, I just even with those stud players, I know I said somebody else was gonna be 7, but I think he's right there. I think he, Arvante, and who was the other guy I said was gonna do it? I think it was
Stretch? No, OC1.
OC1. I think they're going to be fighting it out for six. I think there's your six, seven, eight right there. Um, it's real hard for me to say who. This team doesn't scare me just because I think there's going to be injury and bye week problems. I do think here's the one thing I will say: if they make the playoffs, TTG is scary because because if they make the playoff, their team is healthy. That
Yeah,
means
that means their team,
their,
team
their
is
team is
doing
healthy.
good.
Their team is healthy. I don't think he'll be the one seed or two seed. I think there's no shot just because of how his team's set up. Like bye weeks will
Right,
hurt him a lot. But I think if he's able to get enough wins to make it into the playoffs, he can steal wins pretty easily. Like he can beat even though he could go against the one seed, me, you, whoever is the one seed, and beat us because of Michael Thomas can have a four touchdown game. Saquon Barkley can have a four touchdown game. I Barkley did that in the champion in week 16 last year against the Redskins, where he
right.
popped off and had a 40-point game. So, all right, where do you see your boy?
Well, first off, I would like him to know if you want to sell Barkley, I got three first rounders next year for you. So send him over to a winning team.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
right now, looking at it, like you said, since this is super flex, I first thing I look at is the quarterbacks. And me, I'm not down on Rodgers, but like you said, he's just fine. Like you never know when you're gonna get those blow up weeks now. So it's not like you can project him week to week to be that 25. So when I look at his other, Kirk Cousins, they definitely gonna be safe and run the ball. He doesn't have a Diggs. He just has Thielen, so it's not gonna like they're gonna pass it around the field. And then DJ, you really got to count on him as your RB2. And like you said, that's not a good coming off the injury. He just looked washed up before it even started going. Like I looked at him in the preseason, it didn't look good. So I got scared off that. And everything else, when I look at the bench, it's some fine plays. When he's playing, he's pretty good. Nothing great. He's not gonna win you a week. Mostert, hopefully he gets lucky with that. Like he turns out to be the starter because that could be a real good feeling. Or maybe your RB2 right there. And then you have to hope that Sammy Watkins don't restructure his contract just to stay in with the Chiefs because he's gonna take some snaps away from Hardman. But he definitely has solid, filling receivers. But other than that, if you don't have stud running backs and stud quarterbacks, you don't win in Superflex. And it's anything to get him over the hump. So like you said, I see him as like a seventh seed definitely. But maybe he can make some moves. I don't know if he wants to sell AJ Brown. Maybe like I'm the type to believe that you should sell a player like him because that's like a run first offense. And I'm not the biggest Tannehill fan. He's okay, but I don't know.
I mean, he has draft picks to either trade draft picks to a team a team who's
Of
selling.
course,
He could
right?
potentially put himself in the playoffs, or he could draft at 1.9. If the draft falls a certain way, he could get a solid. He could get a really good young running back. He's not going to get the best
Yeah,
one, but he could get Clyde Edwards-Helaire, um,
right.
maybe a J.K. Dobbins or a Cam. Like he's not getting
You
Swift. He's
never
not
know.
getting Taylor. Um, depending on who takes which running back, they could have someone there.
Yeah, I get that. So yeah, so with this team right now, yeah, seven. But like you said, he definitely has a possibility of making moves and making the right draft pick. He definitely can be scary. So I'm
I
not
don't
gonna
want to
write
play
him
TGG
off.
in the playoffs. I'll put it that way.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm not gonna write him off. But going off today, yeah, we both have him seven, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah, seven.
yeah. All right, on to Keanu.
Oh yeah, let me take this over.
You go right on ahead, bud.
Yeah, first of all, he sold Zeke and only asked for what, one first? That's terrible. But looking at the team, I do like Jacobs. I do like Matt Ryan. He took shots at the receiving spot, which is good. He has a top five tight end when healthy. I actually like the makeup of his team but now, like you said, bad breaks. Brissett is no longer the starter. Tyrod may be the starter, but what you counting on him? But as long as you got it, that's good. But he has Terry McLaurin on the bench. That's pretty impressive. Impressive. So
And he refused to
I
trade
like.
him.
and refuses to trade him. So I know this person personally, like they try to outsmart everybody else, but sometimes they outsmart themselves. And I think he did that with the Zeke trade. I get it if you wanted to sell him, but you didn't get nearly enough. But I will say that he has two first round picks. Well, actually, he's just loaded with picks in general. I will say from all the trades that he did make.
See, the
So
problem, he
this,
does have a problem though. Like, and you bailed him out, let
I've
me be,
tried to. I
I
tried to.
I
You bailed
helped.
him out.
Yes, I pushed for the taxi squad. So let me be clear about this, Keanu. You
Right.
kind of owe me here. Um, had this taxi squad, these five picks here, six. Is that what we decided on?
Yeah.
Six. If these
Yeah.
six
Six
picks
for
didn't
now.
exist, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 picks. He would have had to cut about half these people.
Right.
And now he doesn't have to. I'm interested to see how this system works. Where, uh, I do have a question since we're on the topic. If he puts like a first rounder here, does
Right.
that mean that I only have to give up a first rounder to get him? Since there's nothing
It
higher.
means it's nothing higher. So basically, I guess if you have to, yeah, I guess that's what happens.
Because
Like
I get it. If it's a second rounder, you're telling me I have to give him my 2021 first.
right. So I guess we have to make a special rule for that.
Well, I mean that would just make sense. But I'm just saying with all
No,
these
and all just it
picks,
makes sense. Yeah.
uh,
But that's why. But also that's why you got to know what you're doing. Like, why would you? But that's why he gets the option to promote him. So yeah. So you only will have to do what the rule says. You only have to give up a future first. That's on him if he's crazy enough to let him sit and never put him on
he's
his
gonna
bench.
really want to have to. He's the one that has to know those rules by heart because he's gonna be dealing with everybody looking at his taxi squad.
Oh, so first off, I do want to say this. Right, I actually would have him about 8. That middle of the pack because he has players. Like I like his receivers. I like Jacobs. I like Matt Ryan. But with all the picks, if he's smart, he can maneuver to make the right choices. Like it's not like he doesn't have assets to move to make the right choices. I just don't know if he understands the value of the plays that he has or the value of the picks that he has to do them because it's either you can make another move like you made with Zeke and bury yourself again, or you can potentially do something special. Sneak into the playoffs, and you never know. Once you're in it, you're in it.
I am saying as of right now, this is pre-draft, so I want to make that clear.
Pre-draft,
Pre-draft
right?
rankings. You make a good point. I guess I was gonna have him battling for 11 or 12, but he's
Yeah,
drafting at he's drafting at 6.
he
There's
has
gonna be a
two, right?
running back, so he's gonna
He has
replace
6 and
Breida.
10,
He's gonna replace Breida, and then he's gonna have
right?
either another running back or tight end or not tight end, wide receiver at 10. But
And they got 2.0 and 2.3 and 2.5.
yeah, but there's only so many roster spots. That's the problem. Is like there's
He
players
has
we all agree there's players
he
we
has
like. We like Parker.
no. I'm just
We
saying.
like Boyd,
Look at
but
his
these are not
bench.
studs.
Look
Like
at his bench. He has 10 players to drop. So that's why I'm looking at the picks. Like most of these players he can get rid of.
so, I guess you convinced me to move him up to 8. All right,
Yeah,
on
definitely. Yeah.
to Tico. Tico is
Oh
not
man,
fond of
go
my
ahead. I love
rankings.
this one.
Tico is not fond of my rankings usually. Kyler Murray is now the third quarterback after Lamar, probably, because of the trades that just keep happening for Kyler. It's just like he gets Drake for the whole season now, and he gets he's got Larry Fitzgerald and DeAndre Hopkins. He literally just has to
Interesting
chuck
trade.
the ball up. Aaron Jones could be top five. He was very heavily touchdown dependent for that top five. I think he comes back down, but I think he's still in that wide receiver one talk, or not wide receiver, running
Right.
back one. Melvin Gordon doesn't have a team. Uh, he could be splitting touches. I really think he was banking on Melvin Gordon a little too much here. Uh, Wide receivers are great. I love both. I don't like Tyreek Hill personally, but I can't argue his production. Travis Kelsey's still going to get great numbers for a couple more years. His flex spot, um, his flex spot's hurting a little bit there. Dwayne Haskins is solid, but there's people in DC who talk about replacing him right now, and he's only played in half a season. Defense is always good. He has Keanu Neal in like every league. I don't know if you've noticed that.
I
Dude,
do.
that dude cannot stay healthy. Um, he is hurting at quarterback. His bye week is gonna hurt. He's gonna lose some games there. Darius Geis, he has all the Redskins running back is covered, so he'll have another starting running back somewhere. Um, he's got a great tight end backup in Darren Waller. T.Y. Hilton is and Lockett is wide receivers backup. Lockett's a great, that's a great guy to have
Yeah,
on your bench. So not, he's going to be picking a little bit through the trash bin for like filling out his roster. He's got a ton of empty roster spots. He's got no draft picks, as typical Tico style.
yeah, that's a style.
Um, I think the Melvin Gordon pig blows up in his face, though. I think the Redskins running back, whoever it is going to bail him out a little bit. I think it was smart the way he did that. I think the quarterback position also kind of bites him in the butt that he doesn't have a reliable third option. I see him as that fifth spot, um, fifth or fourth spot in that range. I think he's enough to get there. Um, yeah, that's where I spot him. What about you?
All right, so this is what I said when I had Slice. I had him what 4 or 5.
Yeah,
I had Tico at 6 because starting off, I love Kyler Murray, regardless if he's 3, 4. I just know he's in the top 7, 5 range. Period. Aaron Jones, I'm not like I don't know if he does what he did last year, but I still definitely got respect to put him on the top 10. Playing under Aaron Rodgers, he's definitely going to be in scoring position all the time. Even though Aaron Rodgers, like you said, we're not great, but that offense looks like they want to get the running back involved a lot more. So I like that for him. Melvin Gordon, that situation, I think at this point, if he doesn't land with Falcons, he's basically in a committee no matter where else he goes. He might just end up back on the Chargers, which would be the best thing that could ever happen for him, actually. But at this point, I don't see that happening. So looking at it, DJ Chart, that's interesting too. I like that Jake Gruden is with the Jaguars. He's going to get a lot of time. I don't know if he's top 10 like Tico is saying or believing to be. That's maybe a little stretch, but I like the potential there. Where I have him at 6 is because Dwayne Haskins is his second and only quarterback on the roster.
well, he's got Alex
So,
Smith. He can play on one leg.
so when I look at it, I looked at his best. I definitely like, he has Ty and Lockett and like you said, Waller to fill in. But I, honestly, if you got Travis Kelsey and you need some depth, you might want to sell one of those great tight ends. I did love that he. I love that he had Geis and Love and all of them. That was smart of him. But other than that, if everything breaks right for Tico, he will be a problem. But right now, I definitely got him at 6, 5 spot just because I'm not in love with the quarterback situation after Kyler. Plus, you only have one, so if something happens to this one, you never know what's gonna happen.
I do want to give him a little pat on the back. Like I have rarely seen where a team has all three Redskin running backs. I just think that was like I didn't even notice that he did that, and now I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, that's basically one running back that's
yeah, you got one.
is gonna
You lock one
produce.
in. Yeah,
All right, moving on. Moving on. See, Tico, we both had you in the playoffs, even though I know you only care about chips. Egask. Oh, Egask. All right, you take it away.
yeah. So I was looking at this one, and I had to look pretty hard because I think he got bailed out once again with free agency. Teddy Bridgewater, he hit it. He hit it pretty good with that one. But the receiver spot starts off good, but Amari Cooper, he has some splits, crazy splits. Like when he plays away games, he just disappears on you. And then he's in this committee with Chubb. Chubb is in this committee. He has Hunt, but are you going to play them both at the? And then Devin Singletary, everybody's holding out hope that nobody like Melvin Gordon takes touches from him. So he's definitely one of my playoff seeded teams. You know, I definitely like him in the playoffs, but the quarterback situation has to be good. Like Baker needs to bounce back heavy for it to happen. Teddy Bridgewater has to be solid. You know, I don't expect him to be spectacular, but he has weapons around him. You know, CMC gives you a boost because you dump it off to him. He can take it to the house. DJ Moore, you know, put the ball in their hands and it's good. But other than that, I don't know. Kirk, he was in love with him. He definitely took a hit with Fitzgerald not only coming back, but D Hop coming there, and now you even have Drake gonna have to get his touches. You know,
Oh, let's not
especially if
even
they're gonna pay
forgetting about I can't. I'm about to say who he's forgetting about, but I can't remember. Who was the dude that was
him.
hurt all last year? The wide
Oh,
receiver.
Hakeem
Hakeem
Butler,
Butler. There's
and they even
another.
drafted Andy Isabella in the second round.
I
Okay,
mean, there's. It's not like Kirk. Kirk had some decent games, but he also had games where he was a ghost. So
yeah. So
it's.
and
I
he
don't
has a
think
lot
this
of
is a
injury
guarantee.
history too.
Um,
So with this team, he took a big risk because I could see everything going right. I could see everything going wrong, like Fournette. Because you know Jay Gruden, I never seen him have like a workhorse back that he just feeds the ball to. So that's another. You know they use a lot of third down backs in that system. Chubb and Hunt, you don't know which one to play. You gotta hope for top 10ish from Baker again. Like it's a lot of things that has to go right for him.
so I think you said it right, and unfortunately, I had him before we started talking to it. He was like top three for me, top three, four.
Yeah,
You know, but
exactly.
but the more I'm looking at it, I just see a couple bad breaks going his way, and the way like Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt's still on the team. Until Kareem Hunt's gone, Chubb is half a back to me. He'll still be good. He'll still
Right.
produce. Kareem Hunt though only was there near the end. Um,
Exactly.
and if you look at the end, Chubb had 5.2, 4.5. He did have two big games, but he also had 9.2, like 8.9. So there were some games where when Kareem Hunt came back, Chubb disappeared. Um, Cooper Cup has had one. Let me be very clear. One good season. He was one. He was a his first year, his rookie year. He was a wide receiver three. He was a wide receiver five. He was injured, and then he was a wide receiver one last year. He's a slot receiver. I don't know what I think Cooks is. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see that. I see that offense taking a step back. I don't see Cooper Cup doing what he did. His tight end situation. Jordan Thomas has potential, but if you look at his ranking, it's 111th. He's ranked 111th for a reason. Um,
Well, I see some potential for trades here because I see that
he
he
needs to
took
trade for a tight end.
108 because he has 108 and 107. That's a good start. And he has some what you look at on paper as the running backs, which they are if everything is, the right situation. But then you have somebody like Slice team that might need that and has some solid receivers. I don't know. They might can work something out. So
He
he
needs
definitely
to
is gonna have
trade.
to make moves.
I think he's. I gotta put him in that 6 to 9 range now. I
Yeah, definitely. I'm
I had to
sorry,
move him
Tico.
down.
I got you above you guys.
Yeah, I got him in that 6 to 9 range in that battle for the last spot. Just some bad breaks. On to Alex's team,
and and
and it.
as we speak, Jacoby Brissett is dropped.
Oh, was he dropped from the team or dropped from real
Yeah,
life?
no, he's just dropped from Keanu's team.
Oh
Oh
man.
man,
Um. So Alex's team. It feels like he's already in rebuild mode, and we just drafted 2 or 3 weeks ago. It feels like. Uh, he's got OBJ, carry on, which is injury plagued. Carson Wentz. A lot like you have to go through his bench because he's got everything there. He's got quarterbacks in Garoppolo and Brady, so that's okay. He doesn't have another like. Hey, I know that running back's good. He's got Cortland Sutton on the bench. He's got your boy Deontay Johnson, Slayton,
Yep,
Butler. He's
Slayton.
got a bunch of young wide receivers. Austin Hooper, whose I think value has gone down because I do think right
I think
now
so.
with Njoku, like you don't know how that's going to play out. He's got good tight ends. He's got a lot of high upside players. but I think he's already playing for next year a little bit. Where's his draft spots? Let me take a look.
You got some good drafts.
Um, if
101, 104, 105. That's all we need to know.
104, this thing is not cooperating with me. There we go.
Yeah,
104, 101. What did you say? I'm sorry. 104, 101, and 105. Holy crap.
yeah, he's
So
definitely loaded up top.
he's gonna be a young team. I think that's what he's aiming for. I think he wants to be dominant for a long time, but this year ain't the year. And he's going to be in that 110, 111, 1, or not 110, but he's going to finish 10th, 11th, or 12th.
Hmm, interesting. So for me, I look at it. This is one of those sneaky teams that could actually be in a picking in the top three next year, but it definitely could
Wow.
be one of those teams. No, like no, not the top three. I wouldn't say like five, top five,
Uh huh.
picking have him pick 1.5. But he also has a team that you never know that could be knocking on the door of a playoffs because you look at Wentz, he's usually not healthy, but he's definitely a proven good quarterback for especially in the superflex. I really like that. Carry on, we never seen it. He has so much potential. He stays hurt. I think the Lions want to pair him with somebody, and that's what's gonna happen. So, he take a hit with that, but he's still a good back, especially he catches passes. Good there. OBJ, he needs him to break out again, like how he used to be back in form. I don't know what Cleveland's gonna do. If they're gonna run the ball like nonstop, like how they was doing with the Vikings, maybe. But I still think OBJ is, definitely good. Gives him that wide receiver one that he needs. And then he has Courtland Sutton that can also be a wide receiver one. In between Slayton and Deontay Johnson, you could possibly have, 2, 3 wide receiver 2 or 3 production right there. So this is why I think this is a sneaky team because he has some good tight ends on the bench. He has the potential at wide receiver, and it depends on what he wants to do with those picks. Because you always conflict with those picks for proven players because somebody needs to get younger or somebody that's already should be rebuilding might want to take the pick. So this is a team that I'm definitely watching out for. I'm not going to say he's guaranteed out of the playoffs, but right now I don't have him inside of the playoffs until I see the whole process.
All right. And that takes us to our last team, Simply Anarchy. Oh, he's so frustrating to try and trade with in our regular in Tico's league. Why don't you start it off here?
All right, so you can hear me, right?
Oh yeah, I can hear you.
All right, so simply, I like it from the start. You got Russell Wilson, then you got Christian McCaffrey, two potential top 10 receivers. At the tight end position, long as you got some Ryan Tannehill, solid. So I think his starting lineup is very solid. He has potential, but what he's banking on is Chris Carson, coming back healthy. Because even if you have a penny on a bench, he tore up his knee pretty bad, so you can't count on that at all. Seahawks the way they like to run, they definitely will draft somebody to replace both of them. So this team has potential with the firepower that he has a receiver, quarterback, definitely running back, but he has to find a way to get some depth because I look at the bench. Big Ben, he stay hurt, but that's a good start. I just don't know. I don't see no studs on his bench because his receivers is just way too iffy for me. So he's definitely got potential to be a playoff team, but right now I would have him like a eighth seed or something like that. But
Ooh.
TTG would definitely be over him because he has studs.
Well, we defer here. I have Simply as my fourth seed.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
uh, I do see the weaknesses. I don't like Chris Carson. I just they were trying to replace him already. I think I hear whispers of Gurley going there and cutting into Carson's carries already. They I think Seattle sees him as replaceable. I see him as replaceable. There's that.
Me too.
Russell's great. Christian's amazing. Godwin's great. Galladay's solid. Jared Cook, because Drew Brees came back, Jared Cook has value, but he's just a run of the mill. He's a tight end one, but he's a lower end tight end one, and there's a whole bunch of those around.
Right.
Ryan Tannehill will
Solid.
not. It fills a spot, but he is not.
Yeah.
He is not who you want to have as your flex QB. Like you're hoping for something a little bit better there. And because of those two spots, and I'm gonna be honest with JJ Watt, you can't count on him. So,
No.
you know, uh, I just I see those as his weaknesses. Trey Flowers is decent as a backer for that. He does have his draft pick, which he's drafting 111. It's not going to be the best player, but it's still a good player, 111. So I think he's got some holes to fill. I think he needs to sell some of these upside receivers that he has on his bench, the Robert Woods, the Curtis Samuels. Um, I would target that for a running back, and I would and maybe even pair up my first and go after someone to try and get another running back, and even include Chris Carson. You know,
Right.
I don't even care about him anymore. Like, you need another running back. A startable running back. He's got plenty of wide receivers that can fill in on a bye week, but I think that's going to be his Achilles, and that's why I think he doesn't make the top two for me. So there we go. There's your whole league, Shawnee. How you feeling? So let's round it out. All right. Who is who is our consensus one seed? I think it was between me and you, which definitely we're not showing bias or anything, right?
No, I'm not gonna show bias. No, honestly, the only reason that I actually would put myself there, I mean, it's really a toss up, but I honestly think I have a strong IDP that carries me. And if we just going off paper, like I know what AJ Green and them could do when healthy. So that's the only reason. And I got Patrick Mahomes, you got Lamar, that's great. I mean, it's really
So
one
who's
and
our
two.
one
Like,
seed?
like I put myself there,
All
to be
right.
honest.
So we're gonna go. It's your league. I'll let you have the top spot.
Oh,
So am I the second seed then?
you definitely second to me.
All
Yeah,
right. Who's
definitely.
our third seed? I think.
I,
Oh,
I I I like Slice. I'm gonna say Slice. Even though he don't have the stud running back right now, he gets it done. He got got some talent on that bit.
all right. We'll go Slice Mo. Four. We both
I'm
had
gonna give
Tico in the
Tico some
playoffs.
respect. I'm gonna give him some respect.
All right. We'll go Tico four. Five. One of your boys. Uh,
We were saying no, it
was it
was
maybe
Keanu, but
Arvante? Was it
oh,
Arvante?
Avante. It was Avante.
I
Yeah, I
think
like that. I like
Arvante.
that too.
And
Yeah,
then
that's
I
fine.
have Simply, but you had him as ace. So who's gonna be our sixth seed? That's just the one that we're picking just to barely slide in there. Who's that gonna be?
Oh, I'm just gonna give it to Vander because I
All
like what he
right.
got. Yeah, I'm gonna give that to Vander.
I'm not gonna bother with that. So this is how our playoffs are looking, and that's how it would be today, according to me and you, pretty much. So
Right.
good luck to everybody else. Anything else, Vander or not Vander? Shani?
Nah, ain't nothing else.
All right, man. You guys have a good one.